1-year plan.
Tilly,
He wrapped her in a bear hug, kissed her cheek.
you here with Nate?
Actually, no, I'm here with my friend. Jags, this is Maggie. Maggie, Jags.
How do you two know each other?
He works at Chase.
What's a sweet thing like you doing with a gun? Kim has the same model. Gen 4?
He extended an inviting hand.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Maggie.
So adorable. Not her type, but so adorable. Maggie took his hand into hers.
Cam watched as Jags lifted the blonde
Tilly,
and twirled her in a circle.
you here with Nate?
Actually, no, I'm here with my friend.
Of course, he'd know her. He knew everyone.
How do you two know each other?
He made it a point to know everyone and everything about everyone.
He works at Chase.
Jags was the biggest nosybody Cam had ever met.
Jags, this is Maggie. Maggie, Jags.
Hands began to tremble. He took a deep breath and pushed back the rage and strode towards Jags, determined to drag the little shit with whatever means possible back to the cabin. And for what was sure to be one hell of a long night.
What's a sweet thing like you doing with a gun? Kim has the same model. Gen 4?
She simply shrugged
It's a pleasure to meet you, Maggie.
and tried to take back her grasped hand. But Jags held her firm. She looked at him with question and with some alarm. But Jags didn't notice. He was too busy reading her goddamn fucking future. Fucking hell. Jags stumbled, releasing hold of Maggie's hand. His arms swiped through the air, as if he were blind. He tripped and fell into the table. He felt his way along the worn wood and sat beside Maggie. With his head back and his fists balled by his side, he released a guttural groan. A sound so deep and reverberating. Almost sounded demonic. Hugging herself, Maggie stepped away from the table.
What is wrong with him?
All watched in silence, waiting for Jags to say something, do something.
So much pain. So much pain.
Cam rushed to Jag's side.
So much
He gripped his upper arms
pain.
and gently shook him.
Pain.
Why do you do this to yourself?
Pain.
Jags popped to his feet and brushed past Cam with careful steps, as if approaching a skittish animal. He neared Maggie and cupped her chin.
He won't give you the end that you seek.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
A twinge of possessiveness sparked Cam's temper. His face flushed. Sweat dripped down his forehead.
My brother's been alone too long. You don't know how happy I am to meet you.
He's your brother?
Yes.
Huh. I must have seen him at Chase then, visiting you. I thought I recognized him. Didn't you have a vision of what your brother just tried to do?
I rarely subject myself to Cam's chi. Too painful.
And there it was. The freaky voodoo crap.
You're all soaked. And I don't think it's because you went swimming, since Cam is dressed and so is Tilly. I'm guessing there's an intriguing story to tell. So, the question is, what did my brother just try to do?
Hold it. Is there something I'm missing, or...
He tried to kill himself with that gun.
Before Cam could say, "The hell I did," Jags' head whipped around and pinned Cam with a disapproving glare. Jags took the gun from Maggie and bowed at the waist.
Ladies, I bid you farewell.
Jags walked. Cam walked. Yup. One hell of a long night. Planting his palms on the far wall, he hung his head between his arms. With the thud of each step, Cam's rage soared, and the familiar symptoms surfaced. His hands shook. Beads of sweat speckled his neck and his forehead. A white light pierced his vision. A monster migraine slammed behind his eyes. Cam glanced over his shoulder to find Jags standing in the center of the room. No smile, no scowl. Jags, without a hint of his usual animation and goofiness. Traits that Cam found comical and sometimes maddening. No psychobabble bullshit. Not tonight. Jags stepped forward. His leg whipped out and swiped Cam's feet from beneath him. He landed on his ass. What the hell? With a booted foot, Jags stomped onto his chest. He stared in disbelief. Sure, they'd wrestled many times, but never with any intent. I thought you hated violence.
Of the few times I've been forced into violence, most were because of you.
He removed his boot from Cam's chest.
Sometimes I really hate you.
Cam climbed to his feet. He slammed Jags against the wall and gripped him around the neck. Don't fuck with me! A steeled fist rammed into Cam's gut. Oh, fuck, shit! I'd hate to think. When Jags walked towards him, Cam held up his hands, palms out. How'd you be if you'd loved violence?
Start talking.
Talk. Not Cam's favorite pastime. He slugged Jags across the jaw. A move Jags could have easily blocked, but for some reason chose not to. Stepping backwards, Jags glided a finger over his cut lip. He slid a pack of gum from his pants pocket and leaned his back against the parallel wall.
I'm listening.
Cam bent at the waist and braced his hands on his thighs. Tony didn't drown. I held the fucker's head underwater until I was sure he was dead. And I'd do it again.
You probably saved AJ's life.
Far too long. I didn't protect my little brother from that bastard. How pathetic is that?
Pathetic is not a word I would ever use to describe you.
Jags bore into Cam, his eyes unblinking, focus intense, obviously trying to read him. The last time Jags attempted to see him, Jags fell into a coma. Cam's stepbrother was extremely sensitive to what Jags called the dark side of a person's psyche. Determined to keep Jags out of his psyche, or chai, whatever the fuck Jags calls it, Cam looked at the ceiling. Last week, I got rear-ended in the expedition. Turns out it was some old geezer. Couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds. Before I could say a word, the man burst into tears.
Get to the part where you decide death is the only option.
For fuck's sake, he pissed himself. And I didn't come here to kill myself.
You're huge. I probably would have pissed myself too if I didn't know you better. And your fuck off expression doesn't help either. I know you're out of practice, but try a smile every once in a while. And yes, you did, but you're so far inside yourself you can't see it. But I can see it. Keeping it all bottled inside is tearing you apart. Please, let me in. If you don't, I'll force my way in.
You wouldn't dare.
Try me.
Cam pushed off the wall and paced. The same demon that made Tony hurt AJ is in me. I felt it all my life. I've held it back. I'm tired of fighting it. And if I stop fighting it, I'll end up hurting somebody. Somebody who doesn't deserve it. Somebody like that old geezer who fender bended me at the expedition. Or somebody like AJ. Maybe I never laid a hand on him, but I never stopped my father either. Gramps needs me. And I'd hate to leave him, but I won't become Tony. I'd rather blow my fucking head off before I let it happen. Cam leaned against the wall, propped a foot up behind, and crossed his arms over his chest.
I thought you didn't come here to kill yourself.
I didn't.
We may not be blood, but you are my brother. And I know you would never hurt anyone, much less a defenseless elderly man. I don't need my visions to tell me that.
That doesn't mean...
Adrian cheated on AJ? I never read her aura, so I didn't know for sure if she was a conniving little witch, but I guess I was right. Some people's auras are just so wicked, I don't need to touch them to see the black of their soul.
You know, that kind of freaks me out.
Right now, I don't give a shit. I was right about the waitress at Roxy's that had a crush on you. I steered her clear. I was right about...
Get to the point.
I see people for what they are. I've never been wrong. And you, Cam, are not evil.
If you see people so well, how come you nearly fainted when I told you your girlfriend asked me to fuck her in the backseat of your truck?
Hitting below the belt, buddy.
I'd call her a cunt, but she lacks the depth and warmth.
Let's just reel it back in. We're getting off topic. My point is that if you were a monster like Tony, I would have sensed it. You think I could be around you if your soul was painted the same evil as Tony's? No.
You just don't get it.
What I get is that you need a solid fucking.
We're not going there. Some years back, Cam had walked in on his girlfriend fucking a bald-headed punk. He beat the guy until the police pulled him off. That fucker lay in the hospital for a week, worth every one of the 176 days he served in Huntsville State Prison, but not an experience he cared to repeat. From that moment on, to keep others safe, Cam had vowed a life of celibacy and solitude.
I bet you didn't know that societies that discourage premarital sex have more instances of crime and violence. That's a fact.
Shut the fuck up.
Did it ever occur to you that your aggression worsened when you decided to keep your pecker to yourself? Need more reasons to keep your head on your shoulders? I'll give you a few. Gramps, Dad, AJ, and yours truly. I'll admit that you have a great pain hiding in your psyche.
Enough with this psychobabble bullshit. I killed my own father, and I don't have an ounce of regret.
If you had no regret, we wouldn't be here right now. Give me a year. If you're still convinced you're a menace, I'll shoot you myself.
You expect me to believe that load of horseshit?
Here are the details of the plan. First, you're going to get laid as soon as possible. Second, you're gonna get off your ass and make the repairs needed on the old Copper Creek place and turn it into the best damn restaurant this side of Houston. You need a life other than taking care of Gramps.
I won't leave him alone.
Lest I remind you that less than an hour ago you were prepared to shoot your brains out, thus leaving him very alone.
For the last time, I didn't try to kill myself.
No sale. Not buying it.
I cannot hammer nails into a wall, stock glassware, and plan a dinner menu if I'm constantly worried about Gramps.
Gramps won't be alone. Trust me. Leave it up to me.
I don't like the sound of that. With 3 large and graceful strides, Jags crossed the room and set his hand on Cam's shoulder. Heat warmed the muscles in Cam's neck and arms. His legs weakened. An invigorating chill ran through him, like taking a breath after sucking on a peppermint. Except his whole body felt electrified. Not just his mouth. Cam collapsed onto his ass. How the hell do you do that? Jags crouched and bounced onto his haunches. He offered his hand.
Do we have a deal?
I don't know how to live.
I'm going to teach you.
I don't like the sound of that.
1 year.
Jags nodded at his own outstretched hand.
Please.
Jags didn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. He showcased them in neon flashing lights. His unearthly compassion might as well have been stamped on his forehead. He wasn't an open book, more like a 3D IMAX blockbuster.
1 year.
I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Hearing you nearly blew your head off blew a cannon through the center of my chest. It was kind of painful. Now stitch me up, accept my hand, and give me 1 fucking year.
Tilting his head, he flashed a wide smile, teeth clenched, like a child being forced to smile for school pictures. With a grimace and a nod, Cam shook Jags' hand and clapped him on the shoulder. Brothers. Jags curled his fingers around Cam's forearm.
Always.